It's okay though, because I know that there aren't people just waiting to hang on my every word. And that it's okay that I don't make videos. Well, who is as overwhelmed and as I am, and just struggling to take everything in. There is a lot going on, just with regards to the true crime trials happening right now. Clearly the biggies for me, for Humanimal, Gannon Stauch's quest for justice, which I believe he will get, with the trial of Letitia Stauch being held in Colorado, and another trial which is really going to be three or four parter maybe, which is to say that Lori Vallow is currently on trial for some of her crimes. Other people are going to be brought to trial as well. Of course, Chad Daybell. What makes me really furious is that clearly people have been given immunity. Hello, number one person, number two people, hello. Clearly people have been given immunity so that they will speak, and we all know they're going to be forthcoming about certain things, and all of them are never going to come clean about what's really important. But hey, this very quick live, clearly every day there's something to discuss, to react to have feelings about and everything. But it would just be pretty impossible actually for me to do that. There's plenty of people that are able to, and they're doing a really good job. Why I'm jumping on now, and it's, I don't know, maybe 8 p.m. at night here in Australia, is because as I try to do play catch-ups with the trials, where I'm at now is I've just listened to COLBY's COLBY in court, the way that he was treated, the dense, disgusting way that he was cross-examined. I've listened to that, and then I've just listened to the phone call that he made to his mother, Laurie Cox, while she was in jail, when she was maybe first arrested. And I just wanted to say something about that, because it had a really, it really impacted me. I felt that how COLBY spoke, how he communicated with his mother Laurie in that jailhouse call, I thought it was extremely powerful. I thought it was powerful that he said everything he needed to say. He communicated everything about how he was feeling, what she had done. He was calling Laurie to account in exactly the right way. She couldn't do it. This bitch, of course, couldn't do it. I mean, we know it. But why, why do I want to say something about something that millions of people are seeing and feeling and experiencing? I just feel so bad for Colby, because he, as Laurie's son, as someone growing up with this person, reliant on her at times, trusting her, having to, he's her son. He needs her. She supplies what he needs for life, being, as her mother, she's his everything for a long time. And I think what Colby can't face is that Laurie has always hidden her true self from him, or rather, he's never been able to openly accept or understand her manipulation techniques, her self-serving nature, her selfishness, self-obsession, that everything that Laurie has always done has always been for herself, for her best interests. But of course, she's framed his life in such a way that he's felt, he's expressing that he's been protected by her at times. Can't speak so much for Tylee, but we know, look, we must be extremely sensitive about a lot about Colby, and some of this has to do, or most of this really has to do with Joseph Ryan, and how he says he experienced life with Joseph Ryan, and what happened to him because of Joseph Ryan and through Joseph Ryan. So, but I think Laurie has such powers of gaslighting, Machiavellianism, etc., that it's quite possible that Colby has implanted memories from when he was a young boy, 6 years old, and before that. Laurie is so vindictive, so cruel, so selfish that her own children cannot trust anything that she has ever said about their parents, their step-parents, right? And I think we have to accept that they have lived their lives in turmoil, topsy-turvy lives, where someone is sometimes good to one person, is dangerous to another. It's whatever suits her. Laurie's narrative is, her narrative is king. And to one child, someone's an abuser. To another, they are a wonderful stepfather. So, for example, Tylee Ryan had issues always with Charles, whereas to Colby, older and who had left the nest maybe before Tylee really became truly independent of thought, she had great issues with Charles, because it serves Laurie for Tylee to understand that there's issues with Charles now, because this is coming into the era of leaving Charles, of discarding Charles. If you look up, I should have, maybe, I didn't know I was going to get into anything here, but if you look up to, if you look up in the DSM or any literature really that talks about narcissists, and you look up the narcissist discard, this is clearly what Laurie does to her men. Wow, Colby doesn't even know if Joe Ryan officially adopted him. He just knows that he was given Ryan's name, and I really feel sorry for Colby, because as well as he managed to communicate with Laurie and really drive a point home, I think a lot of that was learned about scripture and how you're taught to think about how your relationship with Jesus Christ is, and but you can tell the world of pain is real. Yes, he truly thought he might die from the pain. He felt like he would die, because that is how truly devastating the pain was, to find out that Laurie Cox Vallow Daybell murdered his siblings. He still hasn't managed to come to terms with how abusive Laurie was throughout his whole life. He's even now in his testimony in court, he's not able to give reflection that, no, well, I always felt that Laurie was raising me well, raising me to know Jesus, raising me the best way she can, which is, to protect me when I needed protection, to shelter me, to love me. He still has that resistance. He's got that resistance. He really can't go there, and he might not get there for many, many years. But I think he's going to, and I think that's going to be Colby Ryan's true spiritual trial, is when he realizes that it's not just after his mother, Laurie Bitch Cox, met and went on to devour people's very souls and lives. When he acknowledges that his mother was always the same person, was always the person she is today in court, was always the person that was scoffing, laughing at him in that jailhouse phone call, that's going to be Colby Ryan's true spiritual reckoning. But I think he'll be a lot older, wiser, stronger by then. I think he's still not really, he hasn't gathered himself into his true masculine power yet, even though he's someone who's been through a lot in a very short space of time. His first marriage disintegrating, a new marriage. He has children, I think 2 daughters. So for all intents and purposes of saying that he's a human being that is experiencing life as humans do when they reach their full growth, I think that he's only on the first few steps of his journey, because that phone call and then his testimony, it's just, Colby, you really actually need to meditate on this. You need to try to take yourself those places you don't want to go, clearly. I think he's still, he's compartmentalizing, he's blocking out, he's still dissociating in a way from the reality of growing up with Laurie as his mother, how she's treated each of the children, how she's phased her life with all of her husbands, and how it always has to be about what she gains. She treated Tylee and JJ like commodities, and it didn't seem to quite come through to Colby that Laurie could really have been thinking of eliminating, destroying Tylee and JJ for a lot longer than he thinks. Well before Chad came on the scene, and you know, excuses. Yeah, I don't think we could ever really understand the truth of things, the truth of who affected who so much, because I think Chad and Laurie are just as disgusting and evil and bad as one another, and they really are folie à deux. I mean, anyone who has kindly watched this channel for a long time understands that many years ago, one of my theories was that Charles and Laurie were experiencing a folie à deux, folie à deux moment, a relationship where you have an imposer of ideas, an acceptor. But this doesn't mean that this takes a psychotic person to wholly affect an innocent person. These are two really sick, tainted people with different drives and ambitions, with different deficits, with different qualities, I guess. And yes, when they came together, this has created the entity of Laurie and Chad. And what is scary about this is that really appears to be that there are plenty of people willing to direct people like Laurie and Chad, because they also are fucked up and evil. This is really making no sense. I haven't been very well at the moment. My kidney function's really low, and also some of you will be saddened to know that Carnivore Dog has a health crisis at the moment. It's so super sweet. Some people, like Mel Mac, for example, I mean, they'll see me in a chat somewhere, and it's like, you know, they just want to know, hey, give Carnivore Dog a hug. Carnivore Dog has a carcinoma in his right eye, and I mean, apart from this, I mean, he is in very good health. He's 13 and a half. He suffers greatly from the arthritis in his hip and everything, and he does have night blindness, and he's becoming quite deaf. But other than that, you know, he's great, but he has a carcinoma in his eye, and so we are, well, I mean, Carnivore Dog, I'm just trying to look at his options in terms of where we go for treatment. I probably should be going to an ophthalmologist, or a specialist that does a lot of operations on eyes daily, because they'll do their own assessment, and perhaps they'll say, actually, we should scrape this off and not burn this off. There might be less opportunity or you know, percentage of a chance for a carcinoma to grow, for something to grow back if it's scraped off. But again, he's 13 and a half years old, you know, for these things to develop. Yeah, but the scary thing is he has to go under. He's never had to go under an aesthetic before, except for before I had him, I guess, when the RSPCA vets were operating on him and things like that. Other than that, he's had to have his little dew claw stapled because he cut it open in an oyster shell, and he had metal staples. And then he got degloved by a plover, by a spur-winged plover. His stepsister had been degloved a few months before that, actually, and it's just this really weird injury that we're going, what, but yeah, spur-winged plovers have these spurs on their elbow, on their wing, and they are one of Australia's contact birds. And so a few months after his sister had this injury that we didn't see happen but was just bizarre, we saw the birds swooping at the dogs on the field, and they actually contacted him. And then on his little rib there's a little scar where it wasn't quite stitched up flat, but they did a really good job. It just ripped the skin from the flesh perfectly with that little bit of membrane and made this triangular tear. And that's it though, other than that, yeah, apart from blowing out his hip and then needing to go for assessments and treatment for that and everything. But he's never been put under. He hasn't been put under from the time that he was really young and had this done. So that's really scary. But part of the process is to do. Anyway, sorry, I'm just droning on here about this. Part of the process is to do blood tests and things like that, and just to check his for having the anesthetic, and then he gets put under, and they just do quite a simple operation, I guess. But yeah, it's very stressful. Yeah. Yeah, but I guess I just wanted to say this is, human nature, our abilities and our ways of coping and everything. They're so amazing. We are so complex. I mean, okay, yeah, we are so simple in some regards, but we're so complex with all our mechanisms for coping. And Colby Ryan is someone that is a warrior, and I hate to use that, but he's a warrior in his own right. The way that he spoke to Laurie in that call, he just laid it out. And yet he still hasn't been able to reconcile, well, rather he hasn't been able to, and okay, I could be super wrong about this, but he hasn't been able to accept yet that Laurie is Laurie. His mother is a sociopath at the very least, therefore always was, and is a masker, a manipulator. And I mean, from the outside looking in, right, we can clearly see this. We see her machinations and manipulations and her motives. And of course that's very difficult for her son to accept, that while he was growing up, while she thought he was keeping her, she was being a mother, keeping him safe, protecting him, nurturing him, teaching him, that, it's all a fucking farce, it's all fake. Okay, this is going to be this is the long road. This is the long road for Colby Ryan. So, there it is. I'm not sure if anyone's even said hello. Hi, Tor. Hey, Humanimal, tuning in late. Dinner, I'm looking glamorous. I've got just one of my kimonos on. This one I want to give to my niece, Kitty. It will suit her skin tone very well and her body structure. Doesn't suit me, but I just loved it so much that I actually had to, it had to come with me. And it's just a, on me it's sort of, well, it's sort of down to above the knee, so it's a short one. This, do you see how it kind of looks, I mean it's Japanese of course, but it looks Māori, and of course my family are all in New Zealand. And this blush pink with this impeccable, it's just this, oh, it's so satisfying just to look at it, this little print. It's very, very heavy, and it's lined in this satin. It's a little bit bunched up. I need to work out how to steam and press it, the hand stitching there, so it's a little bit baggy there. On the ends of the sleeves, which of course you can see here how heavy that is. I need to somehow just unpick it and just fix the structure. Yeah. I can't remember what's on the back. Yeah, it's divine. I'm sure you're eating something really scrummy. Are you still doing Shitty Kitchen Tour? I need to do some more cooking on this channel. Strangely, people don't like it when I eat raw meat. I was thinking of maybe doing a raw fish dish, which would be, and you've probably made a lot of these things, Tori, when you slice up very fresh fish and you would cook it in lemon juice and coconut milk, and of course the acids cook it, and so it's not cooked with heat or anything. Well, it's cooked with the fire of chili and with the acid of citrus. So delicious. But you know, everything seems to trigger people these days, and they don't understand your motives sometimes, and it all gets very complex, and then you know, nothing's worth it. Anywho, yeah, I don't know if there's anything of value or interest in this live. Hi, my darling. Hi, yo, man. Hello, talking cooking. I'm going to cook some beef for a few months. Oh, so Yeoman's going to cook slow-cooked beef? You're coming into warmer months, aren't you, Yeoman? But I guess it's still nice to really slow-cook beef. What cut are you doing? Are you doing something on the bone? Or do you mean you're doing like a, you know, big fillet or something like that? Something on the bone? Do you use a slow cooker, or are you cooking something in your oven in a crock pot or something? I've got winter coming up, of course. Autumn's here. I'm so stuffy because the change of seasons and everything. It's finally, Carnivore Dog is looking so cute at the moment. He wears jammies now for the last few days, so he's in his jammies now. He looks so adorable. No bones, okay, so just the meat with the carrots. Oh, you're doing a beer. My mother used to cook these beer casseroles. Oh, I mean, I admire her for it, and she's probably thinking, oh, tenderize and everything. But as a child, I think it was something maybe about the choice of beer that really, it was just like when she would try and put kidney in and say it's mushroom and things like that. But, you know, palates certainly change. So using like a, do you mean as dark as a, like, do you mean stout? Or just an ale? Yeah. But that's nice, and I mean, it certainly tenderizes the meat, but I think you have to really think ahead about that aftertaste that's going to be left in and everything, eh? What's your puss's name again, Yeoman? I'm sorry, I can't remember. I feel like a real cunt. I could, people just tell me so many things. Something like Guinness. So the really dark, well, that's black, but dark, nutritious. Yeah, and then how do you serve that? Because I feel like I would definitely want mashed potatoes. Beaker. I try sometimes to have slow cooked meat and everything, and then just maybe have rice or something. But honestly, the best thing is clearly to have mashed potatoes. Mum sometimes used to mash together parsnip and carrots. I don't know. It's always very disappointing because I feel like it didn't make the most of either vegetable. So maybe something was missing, like that honey sweetness, or I don't know. Maybe she didn't put enough butter in, but she really tried. Boiled potatoes and boiled vegetables. Oh. Unless you're going to say there is half a pound of butter on those potatoes with maybe some Celtic sea salt. I'll show you something my friend left with me. This is so yummy. So my friend, let's just call her Eliza. She's vegan, so the carnivore and the vegan, but she left this Celtic sea salt. I can't describe it's so powdered. I don't know. I mean, this could be the work of 1,000 child slaves. I don't know. It is so powdered. I'm used to using quite rough salt, I guess. But this is so powdered, and it's green. So you know how different minerals show up in salt as different colours. You've got Himalayan rock salt, which is usually pink. But this, I'm finding it's so... Can salt be mild? Can salt be not as salty as salt? I can't describe it. But it... Sorry, and I'm sounding so... I'm extremely exhausted right now, sorry. So my modulation and everything is probably maybe annoying and monotone. I'm sorry, I'm just so tired. But this salt, and it's nearly as powdery as icing sugar or something. And it's green. And, well, it says it's sustainably harvested, of course. It's lower in sodium. And it is. See, it is less salty. Duh. It's lower in sodium and high in minerals. And I really have been feeling, with my chronic kidney disease, I've really been feeling that, I don't know, this is the way to go. So if anybody has issues with their organs, with their potassium levels, with things, this one, it just says salt, maybe salt of the earth. I don't even know what the brand is. I can't really tell. I haven't got my eyes in. But yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, and I tend not to season these days. It's not that I can't cook and use complex flavors and prepare sauces and things like that. But I've always, I guess, really just preferred things that are salt, lemon, a little chili. I'm going back to... That's another thing that Eliza got me back into is chili, garlic. So I'm eating chili and garlic, this Celtic salt, lemon, fresh herbs, and that's just really my vibe. And I think you can make anything nice with that, right, Yemen? What do you reckon? What are you going to put in your mashed potatoes? Look, mashed potato is the schmizzle, it's the comfort food, it's, and there's so much you can do with it, and you can make it lumpy with things like onion and things. But one particular favourite potato recipe of mine has always been to make this kind of hot potato salad, and it's kind of a sweet and sour potato salad that uses bacon, gherkins, vinegar, sugar. Sounds terrible now. It's so good. Yeah. But you know, I love to just boil potatoes with the skin on, cut up into big dices, and then just throw them into an extremely hot oven in the roasting dish that is already heated and with animal fat, lard, and just get them in there and roast them up, and then salt them, and that is just it's so delicious. Yeah, I don't know. Another of my friends will say, potatoes are pig food. Yeah, it's pig food. Probably are. They probably are. But, if you have potato and if you have butter, in a pinch, get your nutrition. Eat it. It's okay. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just waffling on, aren't I? Well, well, of course we've got rock salt and we've got sea salt, and I'm not sure. This does say earth salt. It's actually being a bit obtuse, isn't it, Yeaman? Because is it from the sea or is it from the land? So you roast raw potatoes with the skin on in the oven. So you must have to cook them for a long time, right? See, I love the olive oil and the rosemary, but I like to circumnavigate through, a 3-hour roasting period. I find, now this is lazy, what you should probably do is just boil them up first, and then shake them up so that you get the roughness on it. So that's where the oil gets in, with the lard preferably, and that's where that crispiness comes in. Yeah. So, you can boil them up. I am very lazy these days. I will microwave them for 7 minutes, and then shake them to rough them up, and then into that hot oven I'll slice like chips is nice, but I have done that a few times, I guess. I think if they're sliced, I do like, have you ever been able to make a successful, what is it called when, pommes frites, no, not pommes frites, when you have those microbladed, like really thin sliced potatoes, and then you layer that, it could be in a personal, is it gratin? Because I was going to say gratin dish, actually, in a little ramekin or in a bigger dish, and you lay it up and you put cream, cheese, salt, pepper, etc. I've never made one that's worked out well. I don't know how to do it. There must be some trick. You must have to get the moisture out of the potatoes first or something, maybe soaking them in salt water or something. I don't know. But it's so delicious when you have it, but it's one of those just really annoying things. I don't like annoying things. I like things that, just cook it well. You make that all the time. I can imagine you do, actually. I think you'd be quite a good cook. And not messing around too much with the ingredients. Yeah, because, have you watched, Jamin, have you watched Tori, Tasmanian Tor? Have you watched her Shitty Kitty Kitchen cooking channel where she cooks? Yeah, she's there was there were a few funny ones that she was making when she was cooking, I think, from the 70s cookbook. Some of these chicken recipes were utterly disturbing. we kind of knew how they were going to turn out, and then some of them were really surprising and quite nice. You have, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Yes, well, anywho, I don't know. I just felt that I wanted to discuss here in a video, because I'm lazy. This is how I do videos now, is do lives and then they're uploaded. I don't make them, where it looks a lot more pretty, and I might try a few times to say something punchy in 20 minutes and then upload it, because that process can actually take such a long time because the uploading. So people are, just getting, it's kind of like the low fidelity version of Humanimal channel. But I wanted to say something about Colby. I still think he's got such a road and ahead, and even though he spoke so powerfully and said what he needed to say, he really got it out. He said the M word. This is something that I feel you actually don't see. People that will not use the word. They won't use the word murder. You murdered my siblings. There is so much compassion, of course, going around by people that are just much nicer, more knowledgeable, more highly trained, more experienced, more educated persons than I am, like Jules Another Day in the Car, for example, who are just so understanding of Harley and so compassionate, so loving, so open to accepting what she is saying as, oh my goodness, hold on. Hello. Oh, my baby. This is always a big beat for the lap. This is my baby. This is my baby. You won't be able to see, but this eye has carcinoma in it, doesn't it, baby? It's got a little carcinoma. It's not the hey bossa nova. It's a fuck off carcinoma on his eye. When Rocky was younger, and when I had a tinny, which is a dinghy, which is to say an aluminium boat with a motor on it that you take out, and when we did a lot more water sports and going to the beach and things like that, he's still got them, but he has his, glasses and everything, and he did used to wear them, and he'd wear them when we'd go to the beach and go out in the glaring sunlight of Australia, but of course, we haven't done as much for years now, and so maybe his eyes haven't been protected. This is why, I guess human beings should wear polarized eyeglasses, sunglasses. I knew that you could get, like I've even got, these little yellow build-ups here, but no, his is actually a carcinoma. And I just noticed that his eye was not just weepy, but it had this red mucus, or this red tissue sort of coming out. And his eye, isn't it, baby? His eye is just so irritated. And this does not give you the true proportion of this dog. Yeah, he's definitely not a lap dog, but no. Yeah, so it's very sad, but I think he'll be all right. UV protection is more important than polarized. Oh, interesting, because polarized always feels so nice. You just go, oh yes, that's good. That just feels so good to being polarized. But yeah, UV 400, is that enough? I don't know. Yeah, so that's the next thing, is getting this little one sorted out with his eyes. So just deciding, I'm actually, because he is 2 kilos overweight, Joe man, You never use sunglasses. See, I never used to use sunglasses. I was never that girl. And it's just as I've gotten older and I've thought, I should be protecting my eyes, But I've always thought, hey, that's healthy, and especially dawn and dusk, looking straight into the sun. I don't know. Right. Okay, that's interesting because they open the pupil and let more UV into your eyes. Yeah, anyway, well, I've mostly been a non-sunglass girl, but it's been the last few years that I reckon, I should be doing it, but I really don't like them. It's not my vibe. You alright, baby? Yeah, but that's our next truck. But anyway, so Carnivore Dog is now back on this diet that really works for him. He's been on it 2 times in the past now. And that is to have 1 can of a product a food called Zebi Peak. They're canned food from New Zealand, 1 can a day. And then, still a little chewy or something. But if we do that, he can lose a couple of kilos in a month, and then he'll be down to 20 kilos, and it'll be much more safe for him to go under anesthetic, and considering his age, whatever I can do to help make that safe. I really don't think they're going to let me. I really want to be there when they're putting him under, and I don't know if they're going to let me, but he really just needs me to be there because of the trauma that he's had in his life and everything in the far past. But anywho, so I'm going to go and put this one down off my lap. He's like, Mummy, I don't like. Look how cute he is. He's got his little rainbows on. Look how it wraps around his bottom. He's got the little rainbow there. You say? What do you say? Yeah. He's like, I don't pick him up like this and make him sit on my lap, you know what I mean? I always go and cuddle him. So he's going, what are you doing to me, you moron? There we go. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I'll let, he's so weirded out by me picking him up that he's just laying at my feet. Anyway, we will take care, and you too, and you and your puss take care, and yeah, anybody who does end up watching this and does have some thoughts about, oh gosh, I mean, there's so much going through my head with the that thread of, this mother-child relationship. There are so many parallels with the way that children have been abused by both Letitia Stout and Laurie Cox. So many parallels in everything, down to them lying about how parental figures, actual parents or step parents, how they died. Letitia Stout told Harley Hardin that her father, Chance, died because someone broke into his house and killed him. He died of a drug overdose, and the poor girl had to learn this truth a week before she testified at trial through social media. And COLBY got a call from Laurie Cox saying, your stepfather's died of a heart attack. And so he goes around there to Arizona, Chandler, and Alex, the Annihilator Cox, is sitting on a sofa, with that pathetic bandage on his head. COLBY says, what happened to your head? He says, Charles hit me in the head with a bat, so I shot him. COLBY had just had a call from his mother, maybe the night before or that morning, to say, Charles is dead. He had a heart attack. I mean, honestly, don't get me started on Gibbon Pastenis, these lying bitches both, and yeah, no one is ever going to front up face up with the truth of what they've done. We know this, right? But there are a lot of facts that speak for themselves in both cases, and hopefully enough that both of these sorry excuses for women, excuses for parents, are put away for the rest of the term of their natural life, and I hope the world forgets about them. Actually, sadly, the world won't, and they know that they have notoriety, if nothing else. Anywho, and there goes my little boy. You okay, darling? There's so much to talk about, like just taking, a path. Hey, not there yet. I feel like I haven't seen you for ages, darling. I'm just gonna jump off now because I don't really have much to say. I guess I always just ramble on. I just wanted to talk about a COLBY Ryan and how he's really split because he knows the truth, but he's still yet to be able to equate it to the true reality of his life. Have you been watching both of the major trials? Not there yet, Letitia and Laurie? I'm just, of course, these run overnight while I'm supposed to be sleeping. Quite often I'll wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and tune into Kit Kat or Jules or someone, or, just Law and Crime Network or whatever, and just try and catch what's running. And then during the day when I can, I'm just watching other people's channels and just trying to catch replays or commentaries. So I've probably missed quite a lot, but I try to, I guess, catch the main testimonies. I started to say, I think maybe before I saw Joman on here, that I'm very conflicted about Harley, that there are so many people better than I that are really giving her a lot of love and support, because it's true, she has grown up being emotionally abused, but I have deep issues with how she managed what was going on, because you cannot tell me she did not know since Sunday night, and she could have had a conversation with Alice. And the story that we're getting is, because look, she was even scared to open the door for pizza. Yes, she's the daughter of an abuser, but I do not believe that she's not her mother's daughter, and I hope that makes sense to some people, okay? And if that's cruel, it's cruel. But maybe the girl's got skills, because she's also made choices. If we think about, say, a 17-year-old boy that murders a younger teenage girl, if we think about a 17-year-old boy who rapes a younger person, if we think about a 17-year-old person who steals a car, who does commit an armed robbery, what do we think? What do we think about the 17-year-old person? We think, they're 17. And they're not a child, no matter how much brain development they have to go, before they're fully formed at 25. There should be there is morality there, right? Sure, there are a lot of experiences to go. There's a lot of maturing to go. There's a lot of synapses to... She's just untrustworthy, is the bottom line, because is she just not very smart? That is she not emotionally smart? Is she stunted where she can't see that talking about a suitcase in the way that she did before she goes to see her boyfriend and his family? Before returning to America, yes, good on her for the trial to testify. I mean, who does that? Who doesn't see that? That is sick, that is inappropriate. Is she just dense? Vacuous? Is this a type of dissociation? Well, no, because she's hyper aware of it. We know this through testimony. She was always aware of the suitcase and the issues with the suitcase. It's just messed up. But I know, she's been damaged, she's been abused, she's been emotionally abused, probably physically abused. Gannon and Lena were too. Gannon and Lena knew they were subhuman to Letitia, that they were unwanted. I've said this so many times over the years about Gannon, that he knew he did not feel accepted, loved. He felt unwanted. He felt her disrespect. He felt her displeasure and her distaste, and she showed it. And Harley knew they were being treated that way, but is it acceptable that she goes, rather them than me? When do you draw the line? Is that what happened with Tylee? Well, actually, we can see that Ty was always treated poorly too, I guess. I'm not going to finish that thought. It will take, because I know that sounds incomplete and stupid and doesn't make sense. But I'm just going to get off here before the hour. Thank you to anybody who does tune in. It's funny, I can post breaking news about Nicola Bully and it won't get promoted by YouTube because we're the blacklist over here. We're in the naughty corner, okay? We're the channel that says suicide, murder, sexual abuse, and hey, whoops. Anyway, thank you everybody. Nice to see you. Not there yet. Haven't seen you for ages. Thank you, Tor, for dropping in. Whomever else, Yeoman especially. Hope your slow cook goes really beautifully. Was it beef? I think you said it was beef. I'm not sure what you're doing with your potatoes. It doesn't sound right to me, but anywho. And Yeoman is right about the sunglasses. Don't use cheap ones. They'll burn your eyes out, and now you're precious. All right, speak to you later.